What's up guys, this is Adam with illumaesthetic. Today we're going to teach you the first part in a long series of tutorials on how to do custom taillights. So for this first part, we're going to show you how to take apart taillights from basically the year 2000 and before, particularly with most Japanese and European cars. So how do you know if you can take apart your taillight? This particular method we're going to show you is we're going to look at the taillight and make sure that you see tabs here. So you see one here, you can see one here. It wants to autofocus. Here, here, and here. Basically all around. And what that tells us that this light was basically assembled together with something we call butyl tape. So it's a sealant that doesn't really cure per se, and it's more or less heat activated. So when you apply heat to it, it softens up and gets soft. So this one we've already taken apart, so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. But you can see the light more or less slides into this area and seals right there. So a couple things you want to check. This is going to be more of a universal guide, but this is specific to the S2000. For certain lights, they do like to put little studs or screws. These particular screws hold in the reflector here, but you may see screws here that actually screw into the lens itself. This is true for some Integra lights as well as the old Subaru Impreza lights. There's a metal barbs that you do have to like drill out or Dremel out to make sure that the light comes off clean. So what you're gonna need for this is an oven or a heat gun, as well as some prying tools. So in this case, we have flathead screwdrivers. And I do recommend an oven as it does more evenly distribute the heat, but a heat gun will do. So real quick, since I'm not gonna be using a heat gun, I'll explain to you what to do with the heat gun. But with the heat gun, you basically want to heat up the places where the sealant would be. So in this case, this area and this area. And special note that you want to make sure that you're not heating the lens itself, because if you directly apply heat to the lens, you're actually going to burn it. And you'll see it start frosting up white. So let's go ahead and take this to the oven and I'll show you what to do with the oven. So depending on your light, you're gonna wanna preheat the oven from anywhere from 200 to 250. Typically your OEM taillights with the nicer plastic can handle the higher end of that spectrum. But if you are trying to take apart an eBay light where the plastic's a little cheaper, you do wanna use something maybe 200 or even below 200 to take this light apart. In this case, I've preheated the oven already to 220 just to show you. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open the oven and put the light in. Keep in mind though, we do recommend using a separate oven for this. We don't recommend, cooking with the same oven you're putting taillights in. It's not really known to be bad, but it's safer if you do. So we highly recommend you use a separate oven for this if you can. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in and wait approximately 5 to 10 minutes to let everything heat. Before taking out the lights, do realize they will be hot, so I am wearing gloves for this. If you are a brave man, you don't have to. It's not that hot, but I'm not liable for any time you get hurt. They're gonna go ahead and take them out. And make sure you have your tools ready. So I'm gonna take them out. And this is a little easier for me as I've already taken apart the light, but I'm gonna pan it down. What you're gonna do is you're going to more or less starting from this area, so the inside trunk part of the light. Go like this. You see how it opens up right in this area? Grab it, stick your screwdriver, and very slowly and carefully stick it as far in as you can and pry out. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna come out very slowly. Be very, very careful with this. And if you can, grab another screwdriver and just work your way through. So work your way out from that original area. So I'm gonna start here. This screwdriver, I'm gonna go down here. Just work your way through. Pay special attention to the places that have tabs. So like right here, so same story. I'm gonna put it here and work my way through. So slowly work my way down. You can see coming out. And if at a certain point, you can just grab it and just slowly pry out. This is typically easier for me than it is to do the first time. And if you ever feel like the glue is getting too hard again, just throw it back in the oven. There's no harm and foul in doing that. So, go ahead, and you see it just released. Very carefully, make sure at the end you don't crack it by just prying it apart. So, right there, very slowly, and there, done. So that was pretty easy for me. It does get easier after you do it multiple times. It was definitely not this easy the first time around, but make sure that you do it slowly and very deliberately. Don't try to basically pry this and you end up cracking this area. So just take your time. It does take maybe anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour for the pair. And that's how you take it apart. So now that's taken apart, you can go ahead and do whatever mods you are in the next videos.